Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Catherine. I'm the podcast host of Chakras and Cuss Words podcast. And today we're going over the astrology dates for the month of January 2024. What? 2024? I'm so excited to be covering this with you guys. And as always, we're going to do a little bit of a reflection of the previous month, which was December, and a little bit of November, because for those who don't know, I do like to get this podcast out to you guys as soon as possible. So I will say that I felt like December was definitely a high energy month. There was a lot of top stories, a lot of events that we will get into, but overall I felt like this was a time for us to really look at that energy of the Sagittarius and also that energy of the Capricorn. For those who don't know, I don't consider myself an astrologer. Can you believe that? I actually consider myself more of an alchemist, somebody who kind of talks about energy around us, the energy within us, and the energy that we can use to kind of create some good intentions. So let's get into this podcast, and I'm going to tell you guys the truth. I am recording this on December 23rd at 8:52 a.m. This is my second recording. My first recording, I did not like the feel. I didn't like it, and I tossed it. I said, let's do a redo. So this is the redo, and it's going to be better than the first one because, it just is because, it just is. So on November 25th, Mars in Sagittarius squared Saturn in Pisces. I'm going to say right here, Saturn in Pisces, Mars in Sagittarius. We have a lot of energy towards spontaneous expansion and overall energy of what is the wise energy. Well, the TikTok shop got shut down, and for thousands of users for basically copycat allegations, and also funds were frozen. So a lot of it had to do with like trademarking, right? So we have to be responsible when we do create our own little business or brand, that make sure that we aren't stealing other people's trademarks, because as you can see, the TikTok shop said no, and shut it down. Another thing that I want to point out is we have to remember that these media platforms, while they're great in, getting our word out and, helping us kind of showcase who we are and our specialties, our talents, but they also have the ability to shut us down at any moment. And that's kind of that energy that I see when I see Mars in Sagittarius squares Saturn in Pisces. Also, during this time, we had a 5-year-old girl out in San Mateo who was whisked away by the sea, and a 54-year-old man who went to go save her. Unfortunately, they could not retrieve the man, but they were able to retrieve the girl. It is unknown what has happened to her, what condition, if she passed away, but she was airlifted to Stanford Hospital. That Saturn in Pisces, remember, do not turn your back on the sea. Horrible story. On November 27th, we have the full moon in Gemini, and I know I'm talking a little bit fast, but in all honesty, I don't want this whole reflection to be like 2 hours long. So we have a full moon in Gemini, and we also have Miss Beyonce looking like an alien superstar at her premiere of Renaissance, and she had like this trademark chain mail label. It was like this space age flare. So she was in her strapless silver gown, featured space age flares on Italian labels, trademark chain mail, whatever that means, including like this geometric opera gloves, and she looked very kind of spacey Cosmo energy, like a cosmic princess. But unfortunately for her, a lot of people said she looked a little bit too white. She did dye her hair like this platinum color, and it wasn't the normal color that a lot of people see on Beyonce in her hair. And they said that, she looked like a white girl. She looked like she was bleaching her skin. And where is the Beyonce we love? So this kind of caused a uproar during this Renaissance film premiere, and a lot of people were hitting social media and talking about it. Beyonce basically hasn't really commented on this, but her mom did. So Tina Knowles basically says like this breaks her heart. She does a film called The Renaissance where the whole time the theme is silver. So her hair is silver, the carpet is silver. It's suggested that the silver color kind of really made her look a little bit lighter and whiter. Knowles wrote, "How sad is it that some of her own people continue this stupid narrative with hate and jealousy." And I'll be honest, I don't think she's like bleaching her skin. The high lights might have made her look a little lighter. Also on November 28th, we have former President Jimmy Carter and Bill Clinton, President Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, and all 5 of the living current former first ladies, attended Rosalind Carter's service. And what's interesting is there was kind of like some backlash on Melania Trump. Some people say she was acting a little disrespectful in her attire, which I'm like, what? And then some people were kind of commenting, should Carter even have been there because of his age? I'm going to say age is a beautiful thing. We must grow. We must become older. I mean, what is the other alternative than growing old? I mean, let President Carter attend his wife's funeral without people. Maybe they're just worried about his health, but whatever. Also around this time, we have the House expels George Santos in a historic vote, 3rd time since the Civil War, to get him out of there for all of his, basically when he was doing a bunch of, I don't know what he was doing, a bunch of, fraud. They said it's time for him to get out of here because he was spending money on his OnlyFans and not really caring about this country. Also, there is an attempt to cease fire that ended by Israel on Hamas because they said that there wasn't enough hostages released. So it's still a war. I'm not going to talk too much about it because, in all honesty, it's just a very sad situation. Then in October, Beyonce actually attended Taylor Swift's Eros Tour concert. So Taylor Swift returned the favor by showing up to the Renaissance film premiere in London. And when I look at this energy of this high energy moment, we have to remember that Miss Taylor Swift is a Sagittarius and Miss Beyonce is a Virgo. And we have this energy kind of like Mercury in Capricorn, sextiles Saturn in Pisces. We have, the Sagittarius season. So the Sagittarius season has definitely been leading the area of media full force. So I wasn't surprised to see Taylor Swift there. She is a Sag and she continues to show up and support that girl power. Also on 12/11, we had, not 12/11, 12/1, I'm sorry. We had December 2nd, we had Capricorn, sextile, Saturn, and Pisces. And we also had our favorite, I believe he's a Cancer sun. Elon Musk directly tells advertisers to go fuck themselves during an interview. And a lot of people say that Elon Musk posted some anti-Semitic genre on his X, better known as Twitter platform, and what would happen if all his advertisers decided to leave X. I still want to call it Twitter. I hate calling it X. It just hurts my soul a little bit. And Elon Musk basically said, go fuck yourself. I don't need your fucking advertisements and I don't care. So hours after Elon Musk told companies to go fuck themselves for pulling advertisements from X over concerns about anti-Semitism, and he even called out Disney CEO Bob Iger by name. I guess he kind of said like, fuck you, Bob. A group of right-wing users on social media platform had called for Disney subscribers to cancel their accounts. And what's interesting is right around November. Okay, so we have to remember this happened in December, but right around November, there was by Dunning-Kruger Times website published an article posting that Disney streaming services has lost 23 million subscribers a single night, apparently because the company had tried to cancel Elon Musk. So this is what these people are saying. Disney has lost about 23 million subscribers overnight, but a lot of people are saying it's not because of Elon Musk. It's just saying that people don't really support the Disney Channel. They don't support all these fucking streaming channels. This whole like woke ideology, this whole, areas of where people feel like their speech is being compromised. And for whatever reason, people are just not getting behind Disney and paying for all these platforms. And they try to make it seem like the reason why all these subscribers closed was because of Elon Musk, but not necessarily was that the reason why they cut their ties with the Disney Plus channel. It just seems like there's kind of been a disconnect with all these streaming platforms to begin with. So we will see, right? What will happen to Disney's streaming platform. A lot of them are trying to bundle their packages now, make it more cost effective for the consumers, because I think the consumers are just kind of over TV. They're kind of over all this fucking bullshit we have to pay. Renowned American rapper Kanye West was making headlines for his appearance in the Middle East and in Dubai. Him and his wife Bianca Censori were running around town. She was wearing like a teddy bear and basically a G-string. But anyways, she was very scantily, clad outfit, but that's how that's how Bianca kind of tours when she goes. And there was a lot of, fueling the rumors of how does Mr. Yeezy treat her. Some people say she barely talks. There's a lot of speculation about that relationship. Kanye, to me, is just, I don't know. He's a hot ass mess. I don't support any of these celebrities. I just like talking about them. Andre 3000. So Andre 3000 I will support. I like Andre 3000. He is the former member of Outkast. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Woo! That song, and also a lot of great hits. Oh my gosh, Outkast. Believe they were from Atlanta. Amazing artists. A lot of great hits. A lot of great songs. So Andre 3000 attends the GQ Men Year Party, and he basically talks about his new album. So his new album is not a rap album. It is actually a flute album. According to the Billboard, the first song in the album, titled I Swear, I Really Wanted to Make a Rap Album, but this is literally the way the wind blew me. This time has become the longest running song ever to hit the chart. And the song is even longer than the name. Clocking in at 12 minutes and 20 seconds. This song is extremely long. So what's interesting is he decided he didn't want to do a rap album because he just was like, what do I rap about? My colonoscopy, and I get it. I totally get it. I don't know if I would want to make a rap album at 48. But we have this happening around that time of December 2nd, where we are looking at Mercury in Capricorn sextiling Saturn in Pisces. And we look at that 12th house, the growing older stage, that area of communication, especially when it comes to like work of the Capricorn, that leadership ability. How do we all portray it? I definitely say good for him. Also, a time that many people thought that they were saying goodbye to Balenciaga is no longer here, because Balenciaga is basically back in media and back doing fashion shows, and the boycott apparently is over by many of these celebrities. So Balenciaga did a LA show for their fall 2024 men and women's collection, and the celebs were out. Cardi B was out, Kim Kardashian was out, Sexy Red was out, a lot of Nicole Kidman's and all that. They were all there supporting them. I personally do not forget when Balenciaga made their creepy pedo account. I guess you could say not account, but pedo campaign, and where they had kids with panda eyes and in dominatrix type, clothing. And yeah, I'm sorry, you guys are exploiting kids. I don't forgive you. I don't care. All the Kim Kardashians in the world, all the Cardi B's in the world, all the weird people who support this crap can go ahead and continue to support you, but me, not so much. Also, we have December 3rd, Venus in Libra squares Pluto in Capricorn. So there's a nurse on TikTok crying about after paying her bills. She basically says that after she pays her bills, she's living in poverty. She only has 200 to 300 in her name and feels like she's living in poverty. I'm going to tell you this. I understand nurses make a lot of money. I 100% agree that nurses should make good money, and I don't think that a nurse is living in poverty. There was definitely times in my life where I was living paycheck to paycheck 100%. But to say poverty, I understand. You would think with this economy, a nurse and a man who is successful would be able to make good money. But for whatever reason, it's just not happening for her, where she feels like she can't survive. But I would not say she's living in poverty. There's a lot of people living in poverty in this country, and she looked like she washes her clothes every day. She looks like she eats. She looks like her kids eat. She looks pretty well maintained, and $200 to $300 to have for the rest of your check. I totally get, sucks because you aren't saving, you aren't having one step above the game. But to say living in poverty, I just felt was unrealistic. And we look at that Venus in Libra squares Pluto in Capricorn. Times are going to continue to get tough. I hate to break it to people, but it's true. Times are going to continue to get tough. There's going to be some shakeups. There's definitely going to be some energy where we're going to have to learn to balance what is really worth it. I'll be honest, back in the day, I used to spend $5 on a ice cream bar sandwiches that I would get for the family. We love them. But you know what? Those ice cream bar sandwiches are now about $7.99 to $8. Do I buy them every time I go to the grocery store? Hell no. I still coupon clip. I still try to save money. I still go into the dollar store. I still go into Big Lots. I still go into places where I know I will save some money. Do I spend money on luxurious things? Do I spend money on things that maybe are kind of seen as, a little expensive, or, definitely a treat, or definitely something that somebody who has money can, spend it on without it breaking the bank? Yes. But the thing is, we have to live within our means. And I don't know if she's really living within her means, because to say that you're living in poverty, I think is unrealistic. I understand times are hard for many people, and I think we really need to reflect and use that balance as we see the Venus in Libra squares Pluto in Capricorn. Also on December 4th, Venus enters Scorpio, a big time for lies, a big time for truth, a big time for reality and relationships to kind of full forward, as we have Cardi B and Offset stop following each other on IG. Cardi B's post on her Instagram where she's like crying, very, upset. I would definitely say check that out on my TikTok. I do a full explanation of it. Ashanti and Nelly might be having a baby. That's what a lot of people are saying. So we see that energy of love and relationships. December and Venus in Scorpio trines Saturn in Pisces. This is a time that we're going to look at reflections of relationships, and also reflections of karmic ties. Especially when I think of this, I think of the Cardi B and Offset situation. That story just kept getting bigger and bigger. How he invited an ex-girlfriend, or a side chick. I guess you could say a side chick. I hate that title, side chick. But he invited a side chick to his birthday party. He is a Sagittarius. Cardi is a Libra. And apparently this was the girl that Cardi had some legal troubles with back in the day. So check that out on my TikTok. I do a full kind of explanation about it. December 6th, Neptune goes direct in Pisces. Deadly shooting in UNLV campus. 3 people believed to be dead, and I believe the suspect was killed. And then one person is in critical condition. And what's interesting about this, about 6 years ago, they had that shooting in Las Vegas at that country concert where I believe like a lot of people were affected. It was like a pretty big shooting. And we see that energy of Neptune goes direct, wakes us up from reality, wakes us up to reality, wakes us up from our dreamlike states, wakes us up from our unconscious states. Let us remind us that the past and the patterns continue to repeat themselves, so pay close attention. Taylor Swift says... that Kanye West and Kim Kardashian almost killed her career. So let's talk about this. Miss Taylor Swift was on the cover of Time as one of the most influential people. And one of the most people, like person of the year, I believe is what it is. So she talks about that incident with her and Kim and how Kim used this telephone clip of Taylor and what she made it to seem Taylor was giving permission to use that verse that Kanye says I should have basically, I made Taylor Swift famous, something about having sex with Taylor Swift. And Kim Kardashian makes it seem like Taylor Swift, this was back in the day. She posted it on her Twitter, and then everybody thinks that Taylor is a snake, and they start hitting Taylor's comments with the snake emoji. Well, Taylor Swift basically talks about that story and says, that what people, and they went back and forth for this for some time, and what people didn't realize is that Kim just used this little section. She didn't use the part where she didn't give Kanye permission. So Kim manipulated and orchestrated a huge, almost like scam, and basically recorded this call, never gave Taylor permission, and Taylor never gave permission for Kanye to do it. And she orchestrated like this huge thing. I mean, and I believe Taylor. I'm sorry. I do. And so then people were hitting Kim with the same snake emoji. Ooh, that karmic energy. Whoo. And let's not forget that Miss Taylor is a Sagittarius. So I'm not surprised she's hitting a lot of high energy moments, especially in Sagittarius season. Mercury in Capricorn is trying Jupiter in Taurus. We also have the Venus in Scorpio opposition, Jupiter in Taurus. And we also have this kind of fully bringing us through this Mercury in Capricorn sextiles Venus in Scorpio. And then Zara, the clothing company, gets a lot of backlash for this jacket campaign that they made. And it looks like a Gaza war inspired set is what a lot of people are saying. It looks like there's body bags, huge controversy. People are over it. Boycott Zara. December 12th, new moon in Sagittarius. Very interesting. Let's talk about Nicki Minaj for a second. So Nicki Minaj has announced basically that she's going on tour. But before she did this, on this new moon in Sagittarius, she released her album. What is interesting about this is she released her album on her birthday, December 8th. On December 8th, there was a lot of high energy moment. Nicki Minaj releases her birthday. That movie releases her album, which went to Spotify at like breaking numbers. It was downloaded within like 24 hours, like millions, and people go crazy. They absolutely love it. It's a pretty good album. I listen to it. I like it. But it's been like a decade since she released an album. The fact that she did it on her birthday, I would say was very well played. And also the fact that she released her tour dates on the new moon in Sagittarius as her being a Sagittarius was very well played, using all this astrological energy to kind of hit it full throttle, to keep going, to make people realize she still is number one. Nicki Minaj is very talented. She's an amazing artist, amazing lyricist. She does like other rap girlies, but she's not going to share her love. She is a Sag. So what do you guys expect for her? But anyways, also on December 8th is also that movie came out, Leave the World Behind on Netflix. Very interesting. Makes you think, what would we really do? What would happen? How would we survive? Definitely check it out. I did a little breakdown about it, and I also talked about the Havana syndrome, because there was one time that they talked about the Havana syndrome. I don't want to give the movie away, but it was when Archie's teeth fall out, and so I talked about that a little bit on my TikTok. December 12th, we have good old Mercury goes retrograde in Capricorn. Mercury retrograde has hit us, and there's been some recent allegations of, Bianca's Sensori's friends are a little concerned for her, especially with her wardrobe choices. And I don't mean to make fun of the situation, but, a lot of people saying like she's not talking. Is this relationship really healthy? There's been talks of her wanting to get out of the relationship, but she's still with Kanye. They're in Dubai. I don't know, Kanye's talking about he's going to build a city out there, he's going to release his music, but a lot of people are really concerned about what is going on with the relationship. They say Bianca Censori, her friends, she's not who she used to be, is basically what they're saying. So they feel like there's a lot of area of possibly narcissism from Kanye. They're concerned about their friend. I don't blame them. And this was Mercury goes retrograde. Mercury goes retrograde in Capricorn, and Bianca is a Capricorn sun. 1213 Washington House Republicans formally authorize their impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden. Woo, right around that retrograde with the leaders. We see it. So, so they're going to get into impeachment inquiries, basically with areas of investigation, with his son, Mr. Hunter Biden, causing a bunch of trouble for Pops. Jeez, it's like family dynamics, right? Family dynamics. So, they want to have a look-see into the areas of responsibility, to fulfill our constitutional responsibility. We have to make the next steps. We're not making a political decision. It's a legal decision, one of the representatives said. It's all about the Constitution. We can't prejudge the outcome. The Constitution does not permit us to do so. We have to follow the truth and where it takes us. So they are going to dig deep into that truth of Mercury and Capricorn energy going retrograde. So let's see. We have to remember this is Capricorn season, the entryway of Capricorn season right around winter solstice, right around that area of energy of influence and karmic ties, as Saturn's a big karmic energy planet. So let's see what all rolls out. Starbucks has been losing volume, has been losing people. Starbucks is basically begging you to go to Starbucks now. The decline from the Seattle-based coffee company it's there, baby. People are not paying the $9 to $11 for a freaking cup of coffee. They're just over it. Times are tough. Inflation's high. People are barely able to buy a house. And when you think that you're going to pay $11 for a freaking Frappuccino, you got to be smoking crack. I mean, Starbucks is good, but goddamn, is it that good? I don't know. I mean, I make a pretty good mean cup of coffee myself with my coffee frother, but a little caramel drizzle on the side, honey. But yeah, so Starbucks stocks is experiencing historic losing streak. They used to, put out all these days like once a year for the fall, but now they're like, please come visit us, have a coffee, get a coffee for a friend at half price. We'll give you some free hot chocolate. Just come spend your money, people. Some people saying that people are boycotting Starbucks because of the price. The price is ridiculous. And also we have to remember Starbucks did have that strike with their workers. A lot of people are saying unfair treatment, unfair working conditions, unfair people with their ridiculous orders. I mean, have you heard some of those orders? Whew, they are a handful. Idaho demands In-N-Out Burger. Idaho's demand for In-N-Out Burger is crazy. Crazy sane. Crazy people town. Crazy. For those who don't know, for those who don't have an In-N-Out, In-N-Out's very popular on the West Coast. I believe it started in Los Angeles back in 1948. It is a California first drive-through kind of like burger stand. And In-N-Out, let's be honest, their media, In-N-Out looks fun. It looks like a fun time. They got, this white logo. It says In-N-Out. They got this yellow arrow making me think of Sagittarius season even a little bit more. It's known for its old like retro feel. People are waiting 8 hours in line to get a freaking Idaho In-N-Out burger. And let me say, I hope that was the best burger they ever bought in their life, because I don't know if I would spend 8 hours in line for In-N-Out. I mean, I'll tell you, In-N-Out hits the spot at times, but I could never eat In-N-Out all day. I could never, not 8 hours. So a lot of people are asking what is going on with Offset Cardi B, especially with the internet. There's been a lot of talk, speculation about him introducing this new girl, Jade, to his life, going back and forth with these karmic ties. And it's funny, Miss Cardi B, during the Mercury retrogrades as a Libra sun, and I talked about it a little bit on my TikTok, she really has a hard time. Gosh, every time a Mercury retrograde hits her, this girl, yeah, it's not a good time for Cardi B with the Mercury retrogrades, I've noticed. So definitely check that out. Ketamine found in Matthew Perry's body. Likely recreational use, people say, or possibly he was using it low dose therapy, maybe to get off of some of the drugs he was using. Ketamine, the effects of ketamine is not good. I mean, we use ketamine to sedate people. Usually when people have like a fracture, we'll, use some ketamine to knock that fracture, a dislocated fracture, kind of set it back in place. Ketamine's a strong drug. People know it as a horse tranquilizer. So, so ketamine was in the system. I don't really know how it got there, how come it got there, but it was in the system. So that's kind of being exposed as we have this Mercury retrograde aligning with Capricorn. We're seeing it. We're seeing the effects of what the truth is, what's the karmic ties. December 16th, Sun in Sagittarius squares Neptune in Pisces. Senate staffer, you guys, I mean, is this crazy town or what? Senate staffer loses job after allegedly having sex in hearing room. Oh my gosh. I actually thought there was going to be a little bit more layoffs. I haven't heard of mass layoffs, but this one takes the cake. So as we look at the Sun in Sagittarius squares Neptune and Pisces, and also that retrograde in Capricorn. So homeboy was getting a little freaky, and apparently, the Senate staffer accused of filming himself having sex in the congressional hearing room is threatening legal actions. We are just trying to have a good time. How dare you fire me for getting freaky in this room? I mean, you cannot make this shit up. And I think about Sun in Sagittarius. Okay, I understand getting bold and brave, but squaring with a Neptune and Pisces, honey, are you crazy? Are you delusional? Are you out your goddamn mind? Of course you're going to get fired. I mean, anybody who's having full-on sex at the workplace should get fired. What is going on? You can't make this stuff up. You really can't. Oh my goodness. So December 18th, our favorite Gemini is in some hot water again. Mercury in Capricorn trines Jupiter in Taurus. Maybe a good time for the collective, that expansion really coming on, but not a good time for this Gemini, as Trump's ballot ruling in Colorado basically says he's going to be disqualified from the ballot. He is not going to be on the presidential ballot. It was basically said by the U.S. Supreme Court, we're not going to have Trump on the ballot. Of course, Mr. Trump is going to appeal it. I heard they're trying to get him off the ballot in California too. This was also right around the time of the Mercury in Capricorn Jupiter in Taurus, as we are approaching a Vesta retrograde that is entering Gemini. Trump is a sun in Gemini, and I believe he was a moon in Gemini as well. Or was he a moon in Gemini? Was he a full moon? I believe he might be a moon in Sagittarius. I would have to look at his chart again. In all honesty, I don't have it in front of me, but I know he was either born on a new moon energy or he was born on a full. I think he is a full moon. So that moon was probably in Sag. Oh, Trumpy. So, he's in some hot water again. This was an interesting story. December 21st, Mercury in Capricorn, sextile Saturn in Pisces. Areas of the unconscious, also areas of how good of a thinker are you really? I mean, we all try to be a little bit centered around our communication, but are you an 18-year-old hacker that gets sentenced to life in prison? hospital prison. Okay, so this 18-year-old hacker out of London, Aryan Kujataji, I don't even know if I'm saying his name right, is responsible for stealing and releasing dozen clips of Grand Theft Auto 6. Last year has been sentenced to hospital life in prison. He can only be released in the future if doctors decide that he is no longer a threat to the community and civilization of mankind. So apparently this guy is the hacker of all hackers. Wow. Like they said that they put him alone in like a room, and he basically had a remote control his telephone and some batteries, and he was able to hack into that. Like he is a mastermind of hacking. What's going to be interesting is, in some ways, this kid is almost kind of like a weapon. If they say that he is unsafe, because he could literally hack into anything. It makes me think about that movie, that Leave the World Behind movie. Is London going to be like, work for us? Very interesting. Okay, so December 21st, the sun enters Capricorn. Capricorn, we have to remember that area of legacy. Also that area of karma. Vin Diesel is a 2010 lawsuit is coming up, and guess what? It's basically saying that he committed a lot of bad allegations with a former assistant, and she's basically saying that he almost raped her. I mean, I didn't read the full lawsuit, but I did read the article, and she's basically saying that when his girlfriend wasn't around, he would sexually harass her. One night when he was entertaining some hostesses from a club, and she was hired, by his company, that after the hostess left, he basically attacked her and like grabbed her allegedly by her hands and threw her onto the bed. She tried to run out, and then he chased her down and he pinned her to the wall, and then he began to grope her and do all these disgusting things to her. And she just let herself dissociate because she couldn't keep up with it. She couldn't keep up, she couldn't get away. It was just a horrible event for her. So even though she signed an NDA, there's this law in California that basically says that we have a year where we can, speak out about events. So she's speaking out about this event. And what's funny is these NDAs don't protect assault. Okay? Yeah, there's certain stuff you can't talk about. Like if he's like picking his nose, and eating his boogers, like you can't talk about that stuff, right? But if he's almost like assaulting you, yeah, no, F that NDA, it's time to talk about it, because these Hollywood celebrities, they're a bunch of piece of shit as far as I'm concerned. A lot of them are getting away with a lot of shit because they have fame, they have money, and people are scared of them. And it's not a good time for them, especially as we have an age of Aquarius. A lot of karmic ties, a lot of the collective is seeing what they're really about, and people are going to continue to see what they're really about and how they harm people that they work for or people who work for them, and just how a lot of it is a lot of smoke and mirrors, and it's time to take a big look at that. So let's see. We also have the Taraji P. Henson addressing Taraji P. Henson, who's an actress who is in The Color Purple, is addressing how a lot of African American women are not getting paid, rightfully so. And so have a lot of other actresses. So Monique, a while back in like 2018, and then she was blacklisted from Hollywood. So Taraji is in The Color Purple, who I believe was produced by Oprah Winfrey, Oprah Winfrey was in the original Color Purple, and she always says like that film has a lot of strong ties to her. Well, Taraji spoke out and basically said that she almost didn't even take the role. She was thinking about not taking it, but she decided to take it. But she wishes like she was paid better. There's definitely some tension in their body mechanism, in their mannerism. You could definitely feel the tension. Oprah, hasn't really said anything about it. Tarjay, basically, Miss Henson basically denies bad blood, but you can see it. You can see it. So a lot of people are coming after Oprah. You know, a lot of people are not supporting Oprah like they used to. I always thought Oprah was a very humanitarian person, but we also have to remember with some of these people, these high profile celebrities, there's probably different sides to them that we've never seen. So it kind of makes you wonder what is really going on. Also, when we look at this Mercury retrograde enter Sagittarius, I would say she had to be very brave to talk about this, right? She had to be very brave to talk about this energy, to talk about how this was exposing her. And we also have the Sun in Capricorn conjuncts Mercury in Capricorn. So definitely a time that she spoke up. There's a few other days that in this month of December that, you know, I will release this on Christmas, so I don't know if anybody's going to listen. But we also have December 25th, Venus in Scorpio trines Neptune in Pisces, full moon in Cancer on December 26th. And then we have Chiron goes direct in Aries. So let's get into, December 29th, Venus enters Sagittarius. So let's get into the astrology and the theme for 2024. So 2024, we still have Saturn in Pisces that whole year. So not much change when we think of Saturn, but the year of 8 for 2024, we have the year of 8. And then also we have a lot of energy towards shifts. So the major points that I want to bring out is we have Pluto going back into Aquarius on January 20th through September 1st. And then Pluto will hit a retrograde and then go back out to Capricorn and then back to Aquarius November 19th throughout 2044. So remember what we saw the last time that Pluto was in Aquarius, a lot of sci-fi feeling, kind of felt a little UFO-ish, kind of felt a little bit like a new era, that energy around how we were spending our money, kind of showing the inflation. We also have to remember that Pluto is a lot of transformation, especially with social structures and areas of technology and the collective in our thought process. So what impact is this going to have? Pluto was in Aquarius back in the 1700s. During that time, they had the American Revolution, also the French Revolution, and the start of the Industrial Revolution. So think back to that energy. Think back to what revolutions will we have as Pluto enters Aquarius for the long run. Will it be more centered around AI? Will it be more centered around aliens? Will robots, technology, the way we use our money, the way that we spend our money, that energy? I would say for the year 2024 as a whole, as a collective, we definitely have to look at the impact of Pluto. Would be one of the most big in-depth energy that I would look at. How can we use this area of technological advances? How can we not use this energy of technological advances? How can we use this energy where we can maybe get back? And it's kind of interesting that that movie, Leave the World Behind, was kind of introduced right at the end of, 2023, which to me in 2023, I feel like a lot of people learned a lot. A lot of people grew a lot. I know I learned a lot. I learned how to balance. I learned how to kind of juggle it all in some ways, right? We never really juggle it all. I had a lot of obstacles. I also had a lot of improvements, I would say, but definitely looking at it in a broader perspective. Also, still with Saturn in Pisces, we want to think about who is this going to affect? Well, obviously the Pisces, also the Gemini, the Virgo, and the Sagittarius with this energy of Saturn in Pisces. People might be going through their Pisces returns. There might be that energy of responsibilities, boundaries, all kind of being pushed to the edge. We have to remember that Pisces is that energy that feels kind of it feels kind of nostalgic. It feels kind of dreamlike. It feels like these two opposites are kind of meeting as one. Also, Pisces has that energy of being a mutable water sign. So it's a beautiful time to kind of like tie into your dreams and successes and responsibilities and make 2024 a good time for you. It's also time to look at your spiritual well-being. That's something that a lot of us kind of go back and forth with. I do have how to make your vision board through the planets on this podcast. So I believe it's called Using Astrology for Your Vision Board or Making Your Vision Board Through Astrology. This would be a fun time to do it this year if you wanted to. I might have to resurface that video. You talk about it some more, maybe try to find it, release it again. I don't know, but definitely look for it on this channel. Also, we have the eclipses hitting in 2024, where most of the eclipses, we're going to see that energy around the Aries and the Libra. We also have eclipses March 25th, April 8th, October 2nd. Eclipse season is known to be through March and April, September and October. The people who are going to feel it, maybe the zodiacs of the Aries, the Libra, the Cancer, the Capricorn. We also have the lunar nodes switched into Aries back in 2023. We have Aries and Libra continue to have the destiny nodes aligned. Remember, Aries is currently with the North Node, a lot of areas of here and now, a lot of areas of your creative passion. And then the Libra, we might see a lot of reflection, a lot of energy towards the past coming back to resurface those karmic ties, right? Learning how to use the energy of the karmic placements of letting go, cleaning some of the factors, saying goodbye to some of these factors. Also, we have a big transit happening on 4/20, also known as April 20th. We have Jupiter conjuncts Uranus in Taurus, and this, we're definitely going to see some energy with the zodiacs, the Taurus, the Sagittarius, and the Pisces. But the major energy around this is really, this hasn't happened in about 12 years. It was the last time it happened was in 2010, 2011. And so it makes you wonder, like, what happened with what were you going through during this time, right? Where were you at in your life during this time? So it's going to be an interesting transit. Also around May 21st, we have Jupiter going into Gemini. So of course, this is going to be a big improvement maybe for the Geminis. They're going to feel that lucky energy of Jupiter, of expansion, of growth, of kind of having that area being showed. Maybe the Gemini is going to be able to kind of tame that chaotic energy. And we're going to see it. We're going to have Sagittarius is kind of getting hit with some more energy. Virgo, good time for them. Also with Jupiter, the planet of expansion, we're going to look at how do we feel as a collective, also with our communication. How do we feel as it kind of moves forward? The last time this happened was in 2012. So it's a good time to look at that. What was going on in your life about 12 years ago, right? Where were you at? Where was your energy of communication in 2012? Looking back at that time. Also, it's going to be interesting what happens with the collective as a whole. I wonder, like, if there's going to be like a new social media kind of breakthrough. And then also what we have to remember is we have the number 8 being overall the year of this next year, right? 2024 adds up to 8. So what does that mean? And when we divide the numbers, we have Saturn. Okay, so we have the number 2. 2 is ruled by the moon. The number 4, we are known for the number 4, especially with like the Cancer, right? But I'm trying to remember which planet rules or what planet rules number 4, but I'm completely going blank off the top of my head. So we also have 4, and then we have the number 8, Saturn. 2 brings money. A lot of people believe that 2 has that energy of like money, work, emotions, career path, also responsibilities. Then we also have to remember that energy tied into number 4 of like technology. I believe is it Uranus? I believe it's Uranus. Technology, opportunities, because 4, I believe it is Uranus, but I'm not 100%. If you know, leave it in the comments, leave it in the podcast chat, right? But it's kind of that area of moving, right? Moving to new opportunities, moving forward. Like when you see 4-4, that's like that message, like you're on the right direction, right? So we have 2024, the number equals 8. So we will see how this all ties in as a whole. Also, let's go over, I'm just going to briefly go over it. I'm not going to talk about it too much because I did talk about the eclipses a little bit, but I also wanted to talk about some of the moons, the full moons. So we have December 26, 2023 will be the cold moon. January 25th, 2024, the wolf moon. February 24th, 2024, snow moon. March 25th, 2024, worm moon. April 23rd, 2024, the pink moon. May 3rd, the flower moon. June 21st, the strawberry moon. July 21st, again, the buck moon. So I think they're known as the strawberry buck moon. And then also we have August 19th, the sturgeon moon. And then we also have September 17th, 2024, the harvest moon, supermoon. October 17th, 2024, the hunter's moon, supermoon. And then we also have November 15th, 2024, the beaver moon. And then we have December 15th, 2024, the cold moon. Wow. What a year to get into. What a good time for reflection and moving forward. What a good time for new infinitive processes. Let's talk about the astrology for the month of January. And I want to thank everybody for listening to the reflection of December. And let's start to get into what do we have going on. What are we going to look for? What are we going to use? What are we going to say goodbye to? Where will we be? January 2024. This time has flown by, and I'm so glad you guys are here to hang out with me to hear all of the new upcoming dates for the month of January. Venus in Sagittarius square Saturn in Pisces, hitting us on January 1st. January 1st, we also have Mercury goes direct in Sagittarius. A lot of people believe that the first month of the new year, the first day of the new year, which is the first month of is one of the luckiest days in the world. One of the luckiest days of the year. One of the luckiest, just lucky. We're just lucky. It's a magical time. We're moving forward to that optimistic energy. We're moving forward to new possibilities, saying hello to a new productive day. Try not to have a hangover. Try not to feel too drained. I always like cleaning my house before the new year, watering my plants, removing old foliage, really taking this new energy to start full. January 4th, we have Mars enters Capricorn. Maybe people are going to get a little bit more ambitious, start their dream boards if they haven't started. Look at those resolutions. I'm definitely going to make some goals for 2024. Some goals, maybe there might be less podcasting coming out. I got to do some personal goals. I got to do some reflective goals. I got to do some work, but I definitely am going to finish the astrology series for you guys. And then I might actually take a podcasting break for a couple of months. We will see. So we will see. We also have January 11th, new moon in Capricorn. Good time to create some new intentions, especially towards projects, businesses, and also manifesting your dreams. We have a high energy day following Mars in Capricorn trines Jupiter in Taurus. Juno goes retrograde in Virgo on January 12th. We also have Venus in Sagittarius squares Neptune in Pisces. Mercury in Capricorn trines Jupiter in Taurus on January 19th, but I almost forgot. On January 13th, we have Mercury enters Capricorn. Ooh, I feel like there's going to be some areas of reputation being kind of areas of communication, especially with like leaders, success, especially with ambition. Like, don't let your ambition go to waste by the 13th, right? Like, let's get it back. Let's get it back. Let's get it back. Also, we have on January 20th, high energy day, Sun in Capricorn conjuncts Pluto in Capricorn. When I look at that conjunction, I think this is going to be a time that a lot of people are going to look at their transformation, look at the goals for the overall year, and see what it is that, you know, we could be centered with. Stay strong, stay ambitious, stay optimistic, staying on the right track. We also have January 20th, Sun enters Aquarius. Remember, we are a collective, right? We're here for each other. We're here for the collective. It's a good time to kind of see that team approach. It's a good time to see that we approach. It's a good time to see that we are a collective. One of the things that I want to talk about this movie again, because that movie, it did make you think. It was actually, you know, produced by the production company of Michelle Obama. And I have a whole series on my TikTok. If for whatever reason you can't get to the movie, watch my series because I talk about it. So one of the things that I want to talk about that movie was there was like these deer in the movie of Leave the World Behind. There was these deer and they kept like sending kind of like messages to the family, to the people in the house. And one of the things that stood out to me is the world is ending, right? And all the humans go their separate ways. All the humans are like isolating themselves. They're getting in their bunkers. They're questioning humanity. They're questioning each other. They're starting the civil war amongst each other. But the deer and the animals continue to travel in packs. They have a leader who continues to, they're not isolating themselves. They continue to travel in packs. And deer are very significant. They're very mystical. They're very magical. They're known to care for each other, to have that collective being that a lot of humans, I think, sometimes shy away from. We tend to remove ourselves from situations, to remove ourselves from the community, to remove ourselves from the collective process. But the deer continue to stay full focus and continue to travel together, continue to have that tribe, right? So where are you going to invest your tribe? Where are you going to put incentive towards your tribe? Because remember, we are the collective. January 20th, Pluto enters Aquarius. Gotta think back. What did it feel like the last time Pluto was in Aquarius? Where was the technology? How was the collective doing? What was our views on the world? What was our views with money? What was our views towards how we spent our money? What were our views towards what is important? Venus enters Capricorn. Definitely. This is the time that we are going to look at our relationships of mutual ambitions. We're also going to look at that time of what's reliable, what's responsible, as we are in this energy of the deep mystic, right? The deep mystic of Pluto entering Aquarius, Venus entering Capricorn. It feels very like we are in the dead center of the harsh reality that we have partnerships, we have loyalty, we have responsibility. To some people, we can always be that firm, whimsical person, firm, free, whimsical person. Not in the winter, baby. Not in the winter. It's time to take a deep, good look at the solar energy, the survival energy, the full illumination energy of where are we as our responsibilities, legacy, and virtue and relationships feed into karmic ties and also the collective. Full moon in Leo, we have the first moon in 2024, and it's in Leo. This is a time for us to shine bright. It is a time for us to be ambitious. It is a time for us to embrace. It is a time for us to move. It is a time for us to be courageous. January 26th, Uranus goes direct in Taurus. To me, it's giving. There's hardships. There's community hardships. There's energetic hardships. There's personal hardships. There's change. It's giving some energies around money. It's also given some energies around staying stubborn in some areas. Sometimes we got to stay stubborn. It's also giving that energy of what it is that we want to change without changing too much. And then we also have Sun in Aquarius squares Jupiter and Taurus. And then we also have Venus in Capricorn, sextiles Saturn and Pisces. Sun in Aquarius squares Jupiter and Taurus. It's, to me, feeling like a time that you're going to want to be careful with other people. You be careful with, it's kind of like feeling frustrated, feeling not so optimistic. Maybe some battles, right? That's happening January 26th. Mercury in Capricorn conjuncts Mars in Capricorn. January 26th, 27th are all days that I would say feels a little bit like, maybe some harsh criticism, maybe some habits we have to look at. Maybe we have to look at how we communicate, how our external energy communicates. We also have Venus in opposites with Saturn and Pisces. It's going to be a time that we're relationships, partnerships, the area to not only like say, I always call this friend never called me, and I always, do this, I always, maybe I don't feel gratitude. Maybe I don't feel the conscious state of being received. So it's time to look at that energy of the cat. On the solar level. Also, we have the end of January. Mercury in Capricorn trines Uranus and Taurus. To me, that feels very fixed. It feels very stubborn. Areas of finances, I feel like, is being hit. Venus in Capricorn trines Jupiter and Taurus. More finances, I believe. Mars in Capricorn trines Uranus and Taurus. This is another energy to me that speaks a lot of energy with finances, financial matters. So I do think that we should look at our financial matters, our comfort, our connections, our area of roots down to the next year, right? We don't want to be crying on TikTok. I haven't done a crying video on TikTok. I hope to never do. I have done some crying podcasts, but I've never done a crying TikTok. I hope to never do. But, look at that energy. Look at that comfort feeling. How do we let ourselves relieve our vents? That's another thing. How do we vent? And I feel like too, with me, I used to be a venter. I used to vent sometimes on social media. And I feel like for me, I've learned to let my vents out in different ways, right? The collective doesn't need to hear all my bullshit. So 2024, amazing year. Let's get ready for it, right? Let's get ready for prosperity. Let's get ready for our area of our infinitive process. Where do we want to be with our responsibilities, our legacy? Where do we want to be in that energy of who we are, right? That Saturn energy of responsibilities, of areas, of money, of using money, of saving money, of spending, saving. It's kind of like a balance, right? With our relationships, personal and also external. So I want to thank everybody for listening to Chakras and Cuss Words podcast. I will be releasing more episodes on the astrology series, and I'm going to try to make these videos, these podcasts about an hour to an hour and 15. I don't want to do long podcasts. I honestly feel like some of them were too long. So hopefully this is going to be consistently about an hour for each astrology series. Of course, the meditative stories will be shorter, smaller, but the astrology breakdowns will be continued to be released. I will tell you that I am changing some of my platforms if you do follow me on the social media platforms. So Instagram, my personal page, chakras_cusswords, you'll see more of like my life, right? Chakras.cusswords, the podcast, is basically more of just, astrology, energy, podcasty stuff, zodiac-y stuff. YouTube, you will see the meditations, the video format meditations, and the podcast. I'm trying to make it more astrology, meditation, podcasty related. If you want to see like my cooking and all that stuff, definitely go on to chakras_ Instagram, but also Nurse Love 101 YouTube channel. I share more of like my lifestyle. It's not, it's it's not really like a lifestyle, but I share more of my life on there. The TikTok is honestly where I share a lot of my celebrity commentary, when I look at celebrity charts, when I look at celebrity events. So TikTok, Twitter is usually where I collect most of my information for me to look at the reflections. So sometimes when I see a story, I want to talk about it so I remember it. So I usually make those videos for TikTok. I'm not going to make them for YouTube anymore. I'm going to keep the YouTube, basically the podcast. So I just wanted to share those. Those links will be in the podcast notes, and some amazing podcasting to come out of the astrology series for 2024. And then I might take a break, but I'll keep you guys updated. Thank you so much for all the love and support, and have an amazing day. Bye.